Hello, NIMAC and Parents Place of Maryland. My name is Jill, and I'm going to talk about my daughter Nadia's genetic journey in Maryland.
Talk me through the process of when you first suspected there might be a genetic concern in your family.
So when I first suspected that there was a genetic concern or some sort of problem, probably was by the time Nadia was 4 months old. She was not developing typically, and she still had head lag. She had colic that persisted for months longer than colic is really supposed to continue. And so she wasn't meeting milestones that first year of her life, and I knew that something was terribly wrong. I don't know that I knew that it was genetically related, but I knew that that was definitely a possibility. We started with neurology because it was impossible for us to get an appointment with a developmental pediatrician. Every place that we tried was 10 to 11 months out. Well, when your child is 9 months old, that is a huge developmental gap. So we went through neurology first, and soon after seeing neurology, we realized that Nadia was having seizures. And that became the focus in the beginning of Nadia's healthcare. And it was during a crisis with her seizures where we were in the hospital that genetics was introduced to the team, and that we first started to talk about our family history and Nadia's presentation and what kind of additional testing should be done.
How do you feel genetic services helped your family?
There were so many layers to her disability that we really, I think, wanted to know what could the cause be. And so genetics was instrumental in helping us figure that out. In fact, Nadia's geneticist knew kind of what this was before it could be tested. She actually said that she suspected that there was a problem with Nadia's potassium channel. And she explained that to us, of what that is and why she thought that. And I said, great, let's test it. And she said, we can't. The science is not available yet. And I remember just being so, I guess, disappointed. And she said, however, genetics is changing. Every 5 years, there are huge breakthroughs in genetic science. So it's coming. And she was right. Many years later, we would do an exome sequence, which would determine that Nadia had a potassium channeling problem that was causing all of her disabilities.
What can we do to make the process of getting to genetics easier for families?
What could be done to make the process easier for families trying to access genetics would be breaking down the barrier between insurance, Medicaid, and the actual services and the testing and seeing the specialist. There are a lot of obstacles in the way through the coverage. And for us, it was trying to get the exome sequence done. The science was available and they could do it, but they didn't know how to get insurance to pay for it in the beginning. And it would take us several years before we would be able to get the exome sequence done. I think that that's the case with a lot of genetic testing, that some of it is so rare and unusual that it is harder for families to get it covered. I also think that there is a problem with availability of specialists. I know that my daughter's geneticist is very, very busy. She has a lot of patients, and if you want to make an appointment and you're a returning family, she's more than a year out in her scheduling.
What encouragement could you give other families who are starting their genetics journey?
My advice also to families who are struggling with their child's journey and they're overwhelmed with all of the specialists that they need to see, all of the education pieces that need to come together, and all of the care that's happening at home, I would say keep pushing forward. Keep reaching out to those specialists, keep getting them to work together and get them to look for solutions for helping you give your child the best quality of life. Create a vision plan of where you see your child in the future and how you want that to happen. My daughter loves music. So when she becomes an adult, I would love for her to be able to work in a place where she's surrounded by people and music. So I've shared that with her geneticist. I shared that with her other specialists so that we can all work together toward a similar goal. And even though it seems overwhelming at times and it seems so difficult, it can be done. These teams are here to support you, and they're here to support your child. So I would just want to share that families should embrace that and let that team work together with you to help your child.